Every moment I'm on stage is a special moment for me, you know, because the people, we get a chance to be creative. We pretty much, the people let us express ourselves, and they do the same thing. We're a mirror of each other. They're my Rock and Roll Hall of fans, not fame, fans. So that's an experience, like Jimi Hendrix said, are you experienced? That's an experience within itself. Every show is different, and we get to express it that way. So that's special to me. Every night, those smiling faces, and new people, the Googlers, you guys, the young generation that is, versus the old generation. So it's all good. That's my special moment every night. Keyboard is my primary instrument, and I started playing that at 9 years old. Playing a lot of jazz, a lot of gospel, a lot of Latin, a lot of reggae. Well, not reggae, back then it was called calypso. And a lot of classical music, teaching myself how to play. But before that, I was playing a lot of oatmeal boxes because I love percussion, you know, and I listened to a lot of Latin music back then, bootleg Latin music. And so that, and if I had a chance to get on someone's drums, that was great for me also, because I was able to beat on something, because I was an angry little kid, and the piano softened me up, you know. So and I love bass and guitar, but I was a frustrated guitar and bass player, so piano just took me to a whole nother level, and I love it to this very day. I kiss my piano every time before I go on stage, or when I'm at home, so I can play some jazz, you know. People like Jimi Hendrix, a jazz organist, I loved his style of playing, and that influenced me a lot. James Brown influenced me quite a bit. Ray Charles influenced me a lot. And you got to understand, me growing up in Compton was basically R&B music, so that's all I would listen to besides Elvis Presley, you know. And when I say Elvis Presley had what we called back then the Holy Ghost from church. You know, I mean, that guy would go into the church and he'd get with the people that I would play organ for in those holiness tents, and people would rock and fall out and just go all, you know, and the music was like rocking. And that's where Elvis came out of. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't know that, you know, and that's where I came out of. But then I was also influenced by a lot of Latin, like I said, Latin music that I was able to go hear. Who was it? Someone of my peers, a little older than me, but back then, Mongo Santa Maria, Willie Bobo, a lot of the Latin, you know, influenced music that came out of here, New Jersey, New York, Puerto Rico, Cuba, all those places. Did I miss anything? Yes, I did. And listening to classical music, listening to Beethoven, Bach, what's his name? The guy that I just had a drink with the other night, Debussy, because I was listening to, well, they call him Debussy, but it's Debussy. That guy was smoking a lot of weed. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Anybody that can come up with a song called Clair de Lune smoked a lot of pot back in those days secretly, because he wrote some awesome songs. And Ravel, another guy who pretty much he was influenced by Debussy, and I love classical mode music, you know, the slow, like romantic, you know, I love that. I can't listen to the up stuff because it makes me feel like I'm on some kind of bad trip, so I like the slow stuff. And like I said, I listen to all genres of music, so I'm influenced by Billie Holiday. I'm influenced by the Everly Brothers, and you don't even know who they are. Wake up, little Susie, wake up. I'm influenced by a lot of country music, but back then it was country and western. not country. Today it's totally different. I mean, everyone caters to your genre, or may I say, your peers at your age. But back then, the old crowd, you know, you had like Charlie Pride, Hank Snow, Hank Williams, I mean, Carl Perkins, you know, all the music that had stories, you know, like blues and gospel stories. You know, am I talking too much? Probably. But you came here. You, so you laugh too much. Anyway, but I was influenced by all that music. Calypso, you know, the Harry Belafonte, gospel music, Mahalia Jackson, all that stuff. I was, and jazz, you had like Bill Evans. Nobody tops Bill Evans. And then came Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea, and all the other jazz players, piano style, you know, that I love to listen to. I listen to everyone. That's why our music is called street music. You know, it's the influence comes from everyone, from off the streets. My father-in-law, who passed away not too long ago, but he was part of the Beat generation. You know, and that was based around a lot of jazz. I know it's before you guys' time. Beat generation, Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, Leroy Jones, Langston Hughes, Ted Jones, who was my father-in-law then. And they would recite their poems. Today you call it rap. But they were doing poetry with music in the background, whether it was just bongos or just a variety of percussion or jazz. That's what they did, you know. Today it's called rap. And then the bebop music came on. Today you call yours hip hop, but back then it was bebop. And then there was the rappers. Back then it was the blues, but today it's called rap. All that in a bag of chips. What can I say? I never even thought any of our music would even play on the radio, to be honest with you. Because at the time, in the 70s, it was just too different than the music that was on the radio. I thought we would just always be a club jam band act, you know, and I was happy there. I was satisfied, but all of a sudden, one of the songs, our first professional studio song was Spill the Wine with Eric Burton. Spill the wine! So anyway, that song started climbing up the charts. Here I am in England, and we were jamming with Jimi Hendrix at the time when he was alive, because Eric Burton, our lead singer at the time, was a good friend of Jimi Hendrix. Chas Chandler, you know, from the Animals, both of them from the Animals. And that's how Jimi Hendrix actually started his career, through Chas Chandler and producing his first album. But anyway, Spill the Wine came out, and that song was written through the fact that I accidentally spilled wine into the recording board. Can you believe that? It was an accident. I came back with a big gallon, a fifth rather, of Gallo wine, headache wine, and a styrofoam cup, and I sat it on top of the recording board, not thinking anything would happen. Nothing would happen. I just poured it, and that's it. But I wasn't watching it. I was pouring it, and I'm looking, seeing Eric. You know, I already created the track. Eric was trying to come up with some creative lyrics at the time, because we hadn't written anything yet. So I'm pouring it, and I'm looking, and I noticed someone else in the little recording booth, but I won't go there. We'll keep it clean. Anyway, as I was pouring it, it went bam right into the board, fried out the board. And we ended up having to go around the corner to the other studio that was connected and finish it up. But we ended up going to England, and when I heard it on the radio, I got this call, you know, your song is #2 on the charts. I said, what? In the States. And then I was hearing it on BBC One and BBC Two in England, and that's when I knew that I could pay for it. Because back then, a major recording board, MCI board, I think it was, cost about maybe $20,000 or $25,000 at the time. And we're talking about 1970, and that was expensive then. I made my first money, paid for it. Hey, what can I say? And the rest went on booze. I had a good time. Instruments and booze. Okay, booze first, and then instruments. I was young, dumb, and full of fun. What do you expect, you know? I was young like you guys, but I wasn't as creative as you guys. Maybe in the studio, but out of the studio, that was a mess. Phew, I'm surprised I got this far. I'm surprised I'm still alive, to be honest with you. Now, that's nothing to laugh about, but I made it. I made it. So I feel blessed. So I can talk about it. I'm one of the few people that can talk about this. A lot of my peers aren't here. So I have to talk for someone, you know, but I can't talk about everyone. And don't ask me, am I going to write a book? I can't, because I'm still alive. Maybe my wife would do it when I'm not here, but I plan to be here a long, long, long time. And there are a lot of children that are alive from the people of my peers that were, you know, entertainers back in the day. And I don't want to say anything to offend anyone, you know, and that can happen. I would be up to here with lawsuits. I don't want to go there, because there was a lot of bad things that happened back then I can talk about, but I'm not. I'm going to be respectful to the ex-wives and wives and the third wife before that, and the X on the back of someone's checks and all that stuff, and kids that have attitudes already because their daddy didn't leave them anything, and then I say bad things and it just upsets everyone, and then I'm part of the problem. I don't want to be. Nope. Not doing it. I don't care what anyone say. You need to write a book. You write a book. And then I'll oversee it and just don't put my name on it. Put me as a ghostwriter. I shouldn't say that, because then words are powerful. I may become a ghost. I don't want to go there. Nope.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
We hope that you'll be with us forever.
This is wood. Yeah. To keep doing what I'm doing, and I don't plan to quit ever, and that's basically my goal, and to just keep people happy, keep people healed. You know, people that are stressed out, sick. Music is healing power. It's very strong, and I hope to still be a doctor of music, and to heal people, keep people happy, keep them smiling under my roof, because that's my church. You know, I'm like a troubadour. I travel, and what I do is I'm not a preacher, but a troubadour. I speak words of I would say words through music. I would break it down as grooves and messages. There it is. See, I have to think about things before I say it, but grooves and messages. Groove from the music and messages from my lyrics, you know, and it's all about what the people, again, the people give that to me. Things that go on in the world, you know, for why we write songs like The World is a Ghetto, Why Can't We Be Friends, Slipping in the Darkness, Cisco Kid from a TV show, you know, everything that happened around us, that's how we wrote. And the people, they shared that with us, like the show, The Cisco Kid, starring Duncan Ronaldo and Leo Carrillo, you know, that was Cisco Kid and Pancho. And so we pretty much, people loved that show because he was like a hero, a Mexican hero who had a lowrider, which was his horse. His horse was dressed to kill, like a lowrider car. So all that we put together, and we bought it to date, you know, through a car. And some homies from the hood. Who? And and that's pretty much an example of how we write our material. All we do is just turn a tape on and jam. We're probably the first jam band besides the Grateful Dead back in our era, you know, together. All we did was jam back in the day. We take 45-minute to 2 hour, change the tape over, and just jam again. And then we take it and edit some parts, or come in with the story and come into the studio with a story, or create a story while we're listening to the music. Well, aspiring musicians, if that's really their goal or what they really want in life, then they should not let anything get between that and them. Music should become their love, but don't let it overpower the rest of their life. Like, in other words, outside of that box, which is music, there is a life. And you need to take that and music and combine them together, but don't let the music smother you and think that that's the only thing in life. And most of all, learn the music business. And just know that there is another life out there. Loved ones, kids, all my grandchildren, so you can tell them things, about your experience. Because you cannot hog up your experience and just think you express it just through music. You need to express it verbally as well. And most musicians don't do that. They don't get enough sun because they're stuck behind a studio board or a drum machine, creating music all day, and then something breaks down and they're trying to be a troubleshooter. And then they call in a tech and they still don't take a break and get enough sun. Or you're not getting creative and you have a good song and all of a sudden everything breaks. Oh man, bad timing. That's when you gotta have another little cheap tape recorder running. So when your machine breaks down, you still got it, a backup. You got it recorded on a, what do they call those things back then? Cassette. Cassette, 8-track, whatever. Computer, yeah, telephone, backup. I enjoy what I'm doing here with you because we're doing the same thing. We're communicating with our fans. So we're collaborating. So it feels good. We're doing good in the studio together already. Let's put a record out. Come on, let's get a deal. We're in New York, New Jersey, sorry. Close. Yeah. So I'm impressed. You asked some good questions. I like to be on my toes. That's why I had to have my coffee.